ನಮಸ್ತೆ ಶರಣು ಶರಣಾರ್ಥಿಗಳು ಡಿಯರ್ ಲರ್ನರ್ಸ್, ವೆಲ್ಕಮ್ ಟು SPPS ಆನ್ಲೈನ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸಸ್. Dear students, we are going to start new lesson from NCERT class 6th, our past one history section, chapter number 6, new questions and ideas. So this chapter mainly focuses on Jainism and Buddhism. So let us understand the contents from this chapter. The contents are as follows. First one, the story of the Buddha. Second one, Upanishads. Third one, Jainism. Fourth one, the Sangha. Fifth one, monasteries. Sixth one, the system of ashramas. So in your chapter they have mentioned some keywords. So let us understand the meaning of those words. So tanha, a thirst for desiring more and more. Prakrit, a language used by Buddha for ordinary people. Upanishad, text containing conversation between teacher and students. Atman, individual soul, and Brahman, universal soul. Ahimsa, no hurting or killing of living beings. Jain, followers of Mahavira. Sangha, an association of people. Bhikkhu, it is a Prakrit word for beggar. Vihara, permanent shelters for monks and nuns. So who are monks? Sannyasi called the monks and sannyasini called the nuns. Monastery, residence for men who lead a retired life. So these are all the some meaning of the words. So next we go to the understanding the new questions and ideas introductory part. So what is the emergence of Jainism and Buddhism in the 6th century? So there are some reasons. So let us understanding the reasons of emergence of the Buddhism and Jainism in India and some continent in the 6th century. Yes, dear students, as you saw in the chapter number 5, some kings in Mahajanpads were growing more and more powerful. New cities were developing. The life was changing in the villages as well. Many thinkers were trying to understand these changes in the society. Especially the Vedas were written and Brahmins learned the Sanskrit language and learned the Vedas, and they started performing the rituals in the king's courts, and the kings to become the common person to become the king, they have to perform the ritual like Ashwamedha Yaga. So these are rituals easily not understood by the ordinary peoples. Those are written in the Sanskrit language, and the people who are not learned the Sanskrit language, it is only learned by the Brahmins who are belongs to upper caste, and Varna based society introduced in that period, and the people opposed the Varna based society because that started discrimination among the various occupation people, and the who are farmers, traders, craft persons, they are starting to providing the taxes for king's treasury. So king was utilizing these amount for the large standing armies as well as construction of the monuments like garrison town and so on. So and women they were not allowed to learn the Sanskrit language, as well as they have to serve the service works like who are dasa and dasi, they have to do the services all three social status like Brahmana, Kshatriya and Arya. So these type of critical condition the people are facing, and the who are living belongs to the Shudra family, they wanted to understand what are the religions and what are the rituals and how to follow those rituals and how to perform the rituals and what is the meaning of those shlokas. So they wanted to learn something in the Sanskrit language. So and they are suffering, they are facing various problems in the society. They have no power to gain the good status in the society. So they are asking the thinkers who are in the 6th century, and to receive the answers from the all their questions raised in their mind. So in that critical condition, some of the thinkers established the new religions. So those are called the Buddhism and Jainism. So the emergence of great thinkers like Gautama Buddha, he introduced the Buddhism, and Mahavira introduced the Jainism respectively. So his and these religions easy to follow and easy to understand in to common people, those are ordinary people or Shudra people, and easy to understand their teachings, those are in the common language that is a commonly spoken language as Prakrit. And these religions do not discriminate the people on their social status as well as occupations and so on. So that is the emergence of Buddhism in Jainism in Indian subcontinent in the 6th century, that we call 6th before Christ era. So start with the discussion, which are the sources are available to get the information about the Jainism and Buddhism. So there are two sources, one is the Jaina literature, another one is the Buddhist literature. So start with the Jaina literature. Sacred books known as Siddhanta or Agama. So the sacred means holy books. The holy book is called one of the Jainism book, that is Siddhanta or Agama. So this book states that which are the teachings the monks and nuns have to follow to become a to adopt the Jainism, and which are the teachings of the all the saints, those all the written in that book. So next we go to the Jaina Purana or Charitas. So these are the biographies of Jaina saints. So there were 24 Tirthankaras, they were taught the various teachings in their period. So those and their biographies also written in this Jaina Purana. So next we go to the Buddhist literature. Tripitaka. So Tripitaka means three discussion or three talk or three communication. So these books regarding the first one, Sutta Pitaka, Vinaya Pitaka, Abhidhamma Pitaka. So Sutta Pitaka, it states Buddhist teachings, and the Vinaya Pitaka that teaches about or that status about the which are the rules and regulations the monks and nuns have to follow to become the to in the Buddhism, and Abhidhamma Pitaka. So this status tradition of Buddhism. And next lastly we go to the Jatakas. So Jatakas, it is small stories, and those are in the dialogues. So the Buddhas and the ordinary people's conversation written in that book in the small stories that we call Jatakas. So these are provide the various information regarding the Jainism and Buddhism. So next we go through the who are the founder of the Buddhism. So the Gautama Buddha, he was the founder of the Buddhism. So let us understand his early life story, the story of the Buddha. Siddhartha, also known as Gautama. So the Buddha's early name was Siddhartha or known as Gautama. He was the founder of the Buddhism, and he was born about 2500 years ago at Lumbini near Kapilavastu. And this was a time of rapid change in the lives of people. So which are the changes that we can measure? So first one is the Varna based society introduced. The people started to use the iron tools in their agriculture system to produce more crops, and people started to pay the taxes, and the Brahmins learned the Vedas, and they started performing the rituals in their king's courts, and these are the new rapid changes in the lives of the people, and especially the traders and craft persons started the trading businesses as like exporting and import businesses, and many thinkers were trying to understand these changes in the society. So and they also wanted to try and find out the true meaning of life. So in this condition, the common peoples are facing various problems. For example, they have no rights to learn the Sanskrit language, and they have no rights to gain the good status in the society. So the thinkers who are they wanted to find the true meaning of life. So why the people are suffering, why they are leading suffering life, or full of suffer, or sorrowful life. So which are the examples to get the happy life. So they are finding various answers for the all these questions, and this is called the new questions and ideas. So and Buddha belonged to a small gana known as the Sakya gana. So Buddha, he belonged to small gana, that is Sakya gana, and he was a Kshatriya. When he was a young man, he left the comforts of his home in search of knowledge. So, why he left the home? Because according to legend, the sight of an old man, a sick man, and a dead man made Lord Buddha realize that life is full of suffering, and the suffering is in this world. So later, the sight of an ascetic made him realize that there is a way to end all suffering in the world. So that Gautama Buddha left home at an early age to practice strict penance and meditation. He wandered about several years in search of truth and knowledge, and holding the discussion with other thinkers also. And he finally decided to find his own path to realization. And he meditated for days and on end under a peepal tree at Bodh Gaya. So Bodh Gaya, it is in the present day Bihar. So in that place, he made meditation for long period of days, and where he attained enlightenment. Attained means he received or he gained the enlightenment. Enlightenment means wisdom or knowledge or awareness. So and what is life, life after the death, how to lead life without sorrowful, and so on. And after that, he was known as Buddha. So after the receiving the wisdom of the life, so he called as a Buddha, because Buddha means a wise one. So Buddha means what? Wise one. Then he went to Saranatha near Varanasi, where he taught for the first time. So after the receiving the wisdom of the life, so he started to teach the people who are in the Sangha, for example monks and nuns, as well as the ordinary people. And he started his teachings in the Saranatha near Varanasi. So in the remembrance of his teaching, the kings constructed one of the stupa at Saranatha, and he spent the rest of his life traveling on foot and going from place to place teaching people till he passed away at Kushinera. So until his death, he taught various teachings of the Buddhism and rules and regulation, as well as the how to gain the happiness in our life without sorrowfully, and all the matters he started discussing with the ordinary people, as well as he started the teachings with the his monks and nuns, and he passed away at Kushinera or Kushinagara. And next we go to the which are the teachings of the Buddha. Let us understand the teachings of the Buddha. The Buddha taught that life is full of suffering and unhappiness. So why the life is full of suffering and happiness? There was a reason. So this is caused by because we have cravings and desires. We have cravings means more and more thirst. For example, gain the victory in the battlefield, gain the precious metals, gain the good status in the society, to get the we have the to get the good food or delicious food in our life. So all these desires that is no endless. So these are called the cravings and desires means which often cannot be fulfilled. So sometimes even if we get what we want, we are not satisfied and want even more. So or want other things also. For example, robbery. So these type of works that leads to unhappiness. So for example, these desires are called the thirst or tanha. So in our life we are full of suffering because because of our thirst, or because of our tanha. So Buddha described this thirst as tanha, and he thought that this constant craving could be removed by the path of moderation. So what is the path of moderation? Path of moderation means we should not greed for any person's things, and we should not greed about the precious metals, and we have to leave the home, and we have to leave the relationship with our family and beg for our food, and we have to adopt the Buddhism that provide the easy methods to get the happiness in our life. So all these are the path of moderation we have to accept when we want to lead the happy life. So he also taught people to be kind, so and to respect to lives of others, including animals also. He believed that the results of our actions, so result of our actions called the karma. So whatever good actions we are doing, we lead the good life or happiness life. If we do bad karma, we can't live without happiness in our life. So both karma, good or bad, affect us both in this life, not in this life, as well as it affect the next life also. And Buddha taught in the language of ordinary people, that is Prakrit, so that everybody could understand his message. So Prakrit, it is the language spoken by the common people. He also encouraged people to think for themselves rather than to simply accept what he said. So what he said, he also encouraged people to think of their themselves rather than to simply accept what he said. So these are the teachings of the Buddha. Next we go to the Sangha. So Sangha means both Mahavira and Buddha. They set up organizations. So these organizations are called the Sanghas, where those monks and nuns as well as the ordinary people spent much of their time on religious studies and meditations. So and with this Sangha, he started teaching in the all over the world, in every places, every places in our country as well as some many countries. So next we go to the male sannyasi called the monks and female sannyasini called the nuns. So and the stupa, it is located in Saranatha. So Buddha started his first teaching at Saranatha. In the remembrance of his teaching at Saranatha, many kings established the stupas. It is the one of the stupa located in the Saranatha. So another one stupa, it was constructed by the Ashoka, the great king, and it is located at Sanchi. So next we go to the recapitulation of the Buddhism and the Buddha's early life. So who was the founder of the Buddhism? The Gautama Buddha was the founder of the Buddhism. And 4 important places associated with Buddha, those are Lumbini, Bodhagaya, Saranatha and Kushinera or Kushinagara. So Lumbini, it was the birthplace of Gautama Buddha, and Bodhagaya, the Buddha attained enlightenment. Saranatha, the first sermon given by Gautama Buddha, and Kushinera or Kushinagara, it was the attained nirvana. The Buddha passed away at Kushinera. So these are the some important places regarding the early life of the Buddha. So next we go to the teachings of Buddha. Buddha emphasized on the path of moderation. So on the path of the moderation means who want to become the monks and nuns, they have to leave the home, leave the relationships of the family members, and adopt the simple life methods, and they have to accept the brahmacharya, grahastha, vanaprastha and sannyasatva, and without greediness in our life we have to lead the life that is called the path of moderation. And who wanted to become the nun or monk, they have to be kind and to respect the life of others including animals, and karma affects both in this life as well as in the next life, it is a good or bad. So next we go through the in the upcoming class we will start the Upanishads discussion. Till then, bye bye, have a nice day.